They told me my war dog had been reassigned. Then I found him, starving, scarred, and chained in the dark. He saved my life overseas. Now, it's my turn to save his. The sun hung low over the plains of western Nebraska, casting long shadows across the cracked earth. The wind carried the scent of dry grass and distant rain, but Ethan Carter barely noticed. His hands gripped the steering wheel of his old Ford pickup, knuckles white. 8 years. 8 years since he had last seen this land. His land. The farmhouse was still standing, though the paint had peeled and the fence sagged in defeat. It was nothing like the home he remembered. Then again, neither was he. Ethan stepped out of the truck, his boots crunching on gravel. His body ached, his back from the shrapnel still lodged near his spine, his shoulder from the rifle sling he'd carried for too many miles. The Marines had given him a medical discharge, a few medals, and a lifetime of nightmares. But they hadn't given him the one thing he'd asked for. Rex, his Belgian Malinois, his partner, the dog who had saved his life more times than he could count. When Ethan was discharged, he'd been told Rex was being reassigned. But after weeks of unanswered calls, a former handler finally slipped him the truth. Rex had been sent to a private K-9 training facility. No records, no further details. Ethan wasn't a man who left things unfinished. Now, standing in the fading light, he pulled out his phone and checked the coordinates one last time. An abandoned industrial park, 30 miles east. A place that didn't exist on any official map. He loaded his Glock just in case and drove into the gathering dark. The industrial park was a graveyard of rusted metal and broken concrete. Ethan moved silently, his training kicking in. A chain-link fence sagged inward, and beyond it, a row of shipping containers sat half-buried in weeds. Then he heard it. A whimper. Not human. Canine. Ethan's pulse spiked. He followed the sound to the last container, its door barely hanging on its hinges. Inside, curled in a nest of filthy rags, was a dog. But not just any dog. Rex, or what was left of him. His once glossy coat was matted, his ribs visible beneath thinning fur. Open sores dotted his legs, and his eyes, God, his eyes, were clouded with pain. "Rex," Ethan whispered. The dog didn't move. Ethan knelt, hands shaking. He reached out, fingers brushing Rex's muzzle. Then, out of instinct, he murmured the old German command. "Sitz. Sit." A flicker. Rex's ears twitched. His head lifted just slightly, and for the first time in months, maybe years, his tail gave a feeble thump against the ground. Ethan didn't hesitate. He scooped Rex into his arms, carrying him to the truck like something fragile, something precious. They drove straight to the nearest 24-hour vet. Dr. Hernandez was a no-nonsense woman with sharp eyes and a military haircut. She took one look at Rex and exhaled through her teeth. "Malnourished, dehydrated, multiple infections," she said, running her hands over Rex's body. Then she paused at a series of jagged scars along his flank. Ethan's stomach twisted. "Those aren't from neglect." Dr. Hernandez met his gaze. These are deliberate." Ethan's vision tunneled. Someone had hurt him. The rage was instant, white-hot, but Rex let out a weak whine, grounding him. "Can you fix him?" Ethan asked, voice rough. Dr. Hernandez nodded. "It'll take time, but yeah, he's a fighter." Ethan sat on the floor of the clinic that night, his back against the wall, Rex curled against his leg. He pulled out his phone and snapped a picture, Rex's skeletal frame, his sunken eyes, and posted it with a caption. "This is Rex. He served 6 tours. He saved my life, and this is how his country repaid him." Then he waited. By morning, the post had gone viral. Veterans shared it. Celebrities amplified it. News outlets picked it up. Decorated war dog left to rot in abandoned facility. Marine rescues his canine partner from neglect. The public outcry was immediate. The military launched an investigation. Politicians demanded answers. Ethan gave interviews, Rex always at his side. He told them about Fallujah, about the IED that should have killed him, about Rex dragging him to safety under gunfire. "He was a soldier," Ethan said, voice steady. "And soldiers don't get left behind." Donations poured in for Rex's care, for other retired canines, for a cause that had been ignored for too long. But for Ethan, the real battle was just beginning. Recovery wasn't linear. Some days Rex ate eagerly. Others he turned away from food. Some nights he slept soundly. Others he woke trembling, his paws scrabbling at invisible enemies. Ethan understood. He had his own demons. But slowly, Rex came back, his eyes cleared. One morning he brought Ethan his old chew toy, a battered tennis ball, and dropped it at his feet. Ethan laughed, rough and surprised, and threw it. Rex bounded after it, clumsy but determined. It was the first time in years Ethan had felt hope. Years passed. Rex grew older, his muzzle graying, his steps slower. But his spirit never dimmed. Ethan founded Rex's Promise, a non-profit dedicated to rescuing and rehabilitating retired military dogs. They paired them with veterans, creating a bond that healed both species. And when Rex's time finally came, he didn't go alone. A young German shepherd, rescued from a kill shelter, lay beside him in his final moments, learning from the best. At Rex's memorial, Ethan stood before a crowd of veterans, reporters, and grateful families. "Some heroes don't wear capes," he said, voice breaking. "Some have 4 paws and a heart bigger than war." The crowd erupted in applause. But Ethan only heard one thing, the faint jingle of a dog tag as the new shepherd pressed against his leg, ready to carry the legacy forward. Ethan still walks the plains at dusk, the shepherd, now named Shadow, at his side. Sometimes, if the wind is just right, he swears he hears the distant jingle of Rex's tags. But he doesn't look back. Because the best way to honor the fallen is to keep moving forward. And so he does.